Although some historians have assumed that after independence Scotch-Irish people immediately became Americans, assimilating into the social fabric of the new nation, many retained a separate identity, bonded by their shared religion, kinship, and experiences. Indeed, Scotch-Irish is essentially an American term that came into common usage in the century after independence. They maintained a distinct presence in Indian country, squatting on land and defending their claims against both native inhabitants and Eastern elites. Second- and third-generation migrants from core areas of Scotch-Irish settlement and culture spread across the upland South and beyond the Mississippi, establishing what we might call descendant communities. Scotch-Irish people, attitudes, and practices dominated frontier societies in these areas and featured prominently in Andrew Jackson's brutal campaigns in Indian country and his Indian removal policies during his presidency. Scotch-Irish immigrants in the Ozarks region of Missouri and Arkansas coexisted with Delaware, Shawnee, and Cherokee immigrants they had previously helped to drive west, and they edged into Spain's northern province of Texas. When the newly independent Mexican state invited American emigrants to settle there as a buffer against the Comanches and other indigenous nations on the southern plains, Americans of Scotch-Irish ancestry, Samuel Houston, David Crockett, and others, did so, continuing patterns of migration, settlement, and conflict that were long established in Scotch-Irish history. They joined other American migrants, as well as again migrant Delawares, Shawnees, and Cherokees, and took up positions protecting the provinces of northern Mexico against the Plains tribes. When the new Republic of Texas implemented policies of ethnic cleansing, Scotch-Irish Texans once again proved hard neighbors to the Indians. Ulster Scots were the foot soldiers of empire, and their descendants were the shock troops of westward expansion, rights activist, historian, and writer Roxanne Dunbar Ortiz, tracing the Scotch-Irish ancestry and migrations of her own Okie family in her memoir, Red Dirt. They spilled blood for independence and spilled rivers of blood to acquire Indian land, and they won the land by blood right, leaving bloody footprints across the continent. Overwhelmingly, frontier settlers and constantly on the move, they cleared forests, built log cabins, and killed Indians. In some areas, European colonists managed, at least for a time, to construct middle grounds of coexistence with native people. Not the Scotch-Irish, apparently. They were recurrent colonizers, and they perpetually opened new killing grounds. They inhabited so many frontier regions and in such large numbers that they were implicated, says historian Patrick Griffin, in all the major developments. Yet their behavior was hardly distinctive. The massacre of 1763 was not the only moment when frontier lines hardened around race and cautious accommodation turned into horrific violence.